Good morning, all of you. Let us start the next chapter, that is mineral and energy resources. Now, here also we'll study about the different type of minerals, but the mineral which is used as a energy resources, like the coal, the petroleum, all this type of minerals. We also use it as energy resources. So we'll study in this topic that only. The main syllabus is given at the top of your book. Before the chapter, it was given the coal, petroleum, natural gas. We have to study. We have to see about the advantage and disadvantage of all these resources. We also see the hydropower, the Bhakra Nangal Dam and Hindrakund, and the non-conventional source of energy. Now the source of energy is divided into two group, the conventional and non-conventional. You can take it conventional source of energies are the energies, traditional source of energy, which is used in the from the earlier days, like the coal was there, petroleum was there. From the many earlier times it was used. So that is known as a conventional source of energy. Now, non-conventional source of energy like the solar energy, the energy which is trapped by the tides, the energy which is used by the winds, geothermal energy. This type of energy which is recently which is utilized, that is known as a non-conventional source of energy. So the two side types of energies are there, conventional and non-conventional. Which is traditional is known as a conventional and non-traditional is known as a non-conventional source of energy. Now first mineral which we have to see, that is a coal. You all know the coal, koila, simple word, the coal. It was generally derived, the coal is generally formed, we have studied in the previous class, generally when the organic material means the plants and animals, when they buried in the sedimentary rock, and because of the metamorphism of these rocks, that this living organism, when they change their character, is known as a coal. When the organic material like the plants, like the trees, the forest, when this forest was buried, afterwards, it takes millions of a year, but after that the metamorphism occurs and this trees changes into a coal. And if these forests are found in the marshy region, they turns into a petroleum. So the coal was the first we are going to start, that is a conventional source of energy. Before we start, we will study, we will see the four types of a coal. According to the carbon content of the coal, it is categorized into four categories. Now, carbon content means the coal, all the coals are not of the same variety. Some coals are there which having a more impurities, less carbon content, or some having the more carbon content, less impurity. Some coals are there which is found very old, and which is very what we say, some coals are very recently found which is inferior variety. So these are the different type of a coal. We'll see one by one. The first one is the anthracite of a coal. The anthracite of a coal contains the 80% of a carbon and only 20% of impurities are there. And because the more carbon content, it gives a more fuel, more heat energy, gives a less smoke and less impurity. So it was the best quality of a coal. It is a hard, compact and the black in the color. It is found only in the Jammu Kashmir in the very small quantity. Because it is very good quality of a coal. It is a black in the color, impurity is less, so it is a black in the color, very hard because carbon is there, and very few amount it is found in the Jammu and Kashmir region. Now the second type of a coal is a bituminous coal. It contains 60 to 80% of a carbon. It does not contain much carbon. It having the 60 to 80% of a carbon, and this 40 to 20% it having the impurity. Most of the coal in the India, it is found in the bituminous type of a coal only. It was having the caloric value is very high, and due to the high property of a carbon and less moisture content. More carbon is there, the less impurities are there, less impurities are there. It is mainly used for the heating, steam rising and the Production of coke. Coke means charcoal. It is mostly found in the Jharkhand, Orissa, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh, and the Madhya Pradesh. Now, third type of coal is a lignite. It was having the most it having the many impurities. Mainly 40% of a carbon is there, and less is impurity. It is also called a brown coal because it was more impurities are there. It is not of a black color. It is in the brown color. It is an inferior quality and the friable in the nature, having much moisture. It contains the more moisture and less combustion matter. It is found in the Palana in the Rajasthan, Navedi in the Tamil Nadu, Lakhimpur in Assam, and Kavera in the Jammu Kashmir region. Now the third variety of a coal is known as a pit. It was a very inferior variety. It was found very recently. It contains only 50 to 60% of a carbon and 40 to 50% of impurities. It means when it burns, it gives lot of smoke. It having more impurity, more ashes are found. It is found mainly in the Jharkhand, Orissa, West Bengal, and Madhya Pradesh. Now, as I told you, most of the minerals are concentrated in the Chota Nagpur Plateau region. See, most of the coals are concentrated in the Chota Nagpur Plateau region. Most of the regions are there. Most of the minerals are found in this Chota Nagpur Plateau region only. Thank you. Next topic we'll see next time.